Hey team, how are we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I'm here today to say, infantry, what do we do from day to day, every day, 343, that's our ECN, 24/7, 365. We're going to cover that tonight. Go over to, if it's your first time here, go over to the comment section where you will have freedom of speech. Go in there, have a look at what the poll is, which is, should we get rid of the woke agenda so we're in line with our strongest coalition partner, being the USA, that have done this and had extremely good response? Or do you think you're just not qualified, and if you're not military, you shouldn't have a comment on it? Because anything that weakens those that train for war and the protection of you in the failure of police and government, you don't want to get in our way, or you don't want to slow us down, or you don't want to prevent us from putting the best team. Remember, diversity is shit. Diversity doesn't work. It's not welcome. Unity is what brings us together, not diversity. Unity. Okay, so this is what we wish it looked like when we joined the army, infantry in particular, the premier corps, the guys in the most danger, the guys that go through the most, that get paid sometimes less than those that will never be in danger at all. And I don't believe anyone really has any idea what infantry does unless you've actually done and completed 4 years infantry. Because I don't think you know after Kapuka, you don't know after Singo, and you don't necessarily find your boots in the first year either. So we're going to be on to that tonight. We've got Chansey here. Good to see you here, mate. G'day, Buck from far north Queensland. We've had some great news for Chansey. Some great news. We've got Brady Cars. We had unfortunate news today for one of our legends in the Western Australia, South African Division, who got come back in 1 year. I won't say his name today, but a great guy. I've spent some time with him in the last few days getting him ready. But unfortunately, there is no guarantees. There is no guarantees. We've also got Lanky, one of our guys that never comes short in our channel, one of our Patreon members, that is enlisting tomorrow. So he's about to eat his last food that's going to land and splash on the side of a porcelain bowl in Kapuka, the home of the Australian soldier. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. Tonight we're talking about infantry, 343. If you're in 343 infantry and you're at the School of Infantry right now, do not quit. It's worth it in the end. We've got a slide that will be coming up here in a moment that's going to give you a hell of a lot of information into the law, as in L-O-R-E, behind being infantry, what they do every day. And I'll leave that up there so that you can ferment in that and take something away. If you're at the School of Infantry right now, get that Skippy badge, team. This one's plastic, but you can buy the brass ones and polish it all the time. Get in amongst Skippy's landing gear there. You don't get your Skippy badge until you've finished your IET training. The only other corps that does that is Armoured Corps. That's it. G'day, Sutherland Bushcraft. And there's Mad, everyone. Evening, everyone. Brady Cars, always good to have you. Brady is one of our excellent moderators. So is Simon Powell and Mr. Buckaroony. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Bucko and I have had some conversations recently about what the hell is going on with the Australian Army. Does it need an overhaul to completely go down and see how much rust do we have? Maybe even do a, what would you call it? An investigation into the Australian Army, the amount of officers we've got, the amount of hanger-oners we've got, and maybe clean it out, bring back some rules, bring back some boundaries, because people operate best under boundaries. And what you do in peacetime will determine what happens to you in war. And if you don't go hard on your organisation, and I tell you what, you're going to pay more when it comes to sending our sons overseas. And that is another reason we need Gold Star mothers for our ADF, so that when they lose a child, okay, they have a say. I don't like this idea that defence is for giving opportunities. It's primarily to, I'm not sure that was Jono. I'll get to your comment later, mate, and I do agree. It's not a charity. Right. So what am I talking about? Let's get to it. Where are we? Where are we? I made a stream, I've made this for you, and I've also made a different, where are we? Come on. Where's our best background here? So we turn off this one. There you go. And we're going to go to the boots. Righto. This is so that we can not get lost if you come to the stream late. You can watch this and you'll be able to, so that's what it looks like behind there. Some muddy boots, some dog tags, and the rifle in the mud. That is basically, the nexus of what it is to be an infantry soldier. Now, I've listed this up. There's an exhaustive list, team. This could be as long as you want, but it's a bit of a summary of what you need to know when you go to infantry. It's not a fucking game. These are the people. We've had over 103,000 die, only males, in the Australian Army. Still yet to lose a female in a combat corps, but here we are. We're going to go from the start. I'll just make sure we're all good to go. There's either recovery mechanic or communications operator. Okay, my father is my hero, and my hero is not infantry. My father was a recovery mechanic with CAV, Armoured Corps over in Vietnam, and he's my hero and he's still living, which is great. Dominic says, definitely think the good one we have in Infantry Battalion at the moment is none of this woke trans shit. Absolutely. As soon as you choose to be trans, and it's choice every time, and especially if you're going to do it in a dress, don't expect to be called sir. What was the funny name I thought about the other day? I can't remember. Yeah. If you want to make that choice, go and become a civilian, do what you want, hang out in the Mardi Gras, don't give a shit. Go about your life. I hope you have a great life. But your pronoun in Australia is mate, and that's it. And I won't be calling anyone transgender, sir. On that one, before we go any further, another thing I'd like to say is to that dickhead from 60 Minutes is doing an attack job on the Australian Defence Force. The Australian Army has got nothing to be ashamed of. The Australian Army are not perpetrators. They have two legal systems, and I believe that this is a hack job and it's a goddamn disgrace. And I believe that if I was sitting now in a regimented lesson, mandatory lesson, that I had to sit there and have someone younger than me with pips on their shoulder that I call sir, I'd have to use my moral courage. If they said to me, we're going to do a sexual abuse lesson, I'd be, I want to ban out. I haven't done it. I'm not guilty of it. Don't want to hear it. Don't intend on doing it. If you catch someone that has done it and there's actual evidence, yes, no evidence, throw it out. No evidence, throw it out. It is innocent until proven guilty. Yep. If I saw it, I would have said something about it. Has things happened to me? Yes. Not by men. Oh, yeah, well, there's been some slaps on the arse, etc., but where do you draw a line? This is a hit job, and this is all about someone going against the government, not caring about women, who's trying to make a mozza for their law firm. That's all it is. And it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. But I wouldn't be sitting there and listening to someone accusing me and my soldiers of being predators, as when they're the volunteers of the nation that haven't been found guilty of shit and don't even have females in their call sign. It's ridiculous. I'm doing reserve infantry too. Fantastic. There's no difference between Army Reserve and infantry except for the commitment and what happens when a war begins. So let's go from the start. We train for war. I'll break down what happens from 7:30 in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, I'll do that now actually. So the workday starts from 7:20. We're expected to be 10 minutes early to first parade that happens at 7:20 by the platoon sergeant with a bit of fat room there between 7:20 and 7:30, which is organised PT, which should be happening at least 5 days a week during in barracks, in garrison duties. But can happen up to 10 times a week depending on the cycle and the time of the year. Understand that there is cycles throughout the year, and every battalion needs to ramp up quickly to get you to a element of elite fitness, right? But then that comes off the boiler, and then we maintain. So at the start of the year, that's when you hit the ground running. You've pulled the fat cord over leave. You've drank a lot. You've probably sat with the girl that you think is going to be the right one forever, and she's not most of the time, because normally you're in love and married to the core at first. Okay, what happens from there is we run that out of you. We get you acclimatised if you're in Townsville and Darwin, etc. At any stage, you can be called to go to war. Any stage. There's almost no warning at all. And that's what it says in the last line. You won't see the biggest test coming. Okay, from there, what happens is you'll do individual training for the first block of the year. You know, and that will have a culmination with some kind of test. Before you go to section skills, etc., a test. And then as you go through the year, platoon, which is up to 30 men, 3 sections, platoon commander, platoon sergeant, everyone's tested. And then it goes to company, major, warrant officer, captain, you know, and then 3 platoons, etc. Then to battalion, right, depending on what battalion you go into. And then it will be at the army level, formation level, or brigade after that. And then you have a army activity normally. And in and around there is the course period. Don't expect to go to support company, and you should not be going to support company in the first year. That is where you are doing your fermentation as a rifleman or fusilier, which is the Spanish word for rifle, in the Royal Australian Regiment. You know, and what occurs at the end of that, you've ticked everything off, you've got your skills, you've got a reputation, they understand how they can use you in the battalion algorithm, and then they're going to give you options after that, whether it be to go for special forces, whether it go for support company and become a specialist with heavy weapons, etc. And that year will repeat every single year, year after year after year, punctuated with operations, punctuated with transfers, you know, and that'll happen for at least 4 years. Corps transfer should not be considered, you know, and I would not want to approve anyone, you know, in the first 3 years. You sign up, you do what you said you were going to sign up for, oath or affirmation. At the end of that, if you're a good egg, give him what he wants, you know, reward him for his time, thank him for his time. He's still a volunteer and he's there representing his family. Infantry, it's the best corps every time to start an army career because everything else supports it. Armoured Corps might argue different, but they can't hold ground. But what happens there is that means that everything you support after that, you understand what you're supporting. That makes you the best at your support job as well. I'd say engineers are different. Engineers are a standalone corps with independent responsibilities, capabilities, missions, and tasks. All right? So we'll get into these in a second. Really yellowed. I failed school, but my careers coach nominated me for the BKSB. I don't know what that is, my man. A lot of people fail school, mate. You know, a lot of teachers aren't very inspirational. Okay? A lot of guys, their minds are going too quick. They're already thinking what's on the other side of the ocean. I want to travel across it and see what's there. Lightfoot, I'm extremely proud of you for what you've done in the last few years, mate. I feel like work is the opposite of this, and when I act like this, I am looked at like I am a three-eyed unicorn. There you go. Cooper Castle, I'm old school, and this was our minimum. I just suggested this to everyone. Okay. Right, let's have a look at it. We train for war, and that comes in the role of the infantry, which is similar to the Armoured Corps. You know, similar, but not the same. I'm just going to put this so it goes behind me. Wait 2 seconds. I hope everyone's having a great day. And I mean that when I say it. Banner 2. Let's go down. YouTube screen capture. Okay. There we go. Cobra says, "Hi Kaz, did you watch the 10-play doco called Is Australia Ready for War? I haven't seen it." They were saying Taiwan too. What are the chances of war, do you reckon? I'd say we're isolationists at the moment. And I'd say if we do go somewhere, it's going to be in relation to Pete Hegseth committing us via our coalition partners, USA, to a force. And I think that the USA may very well go somewhere during this period with Trump. Even though he's a peacekeeper, a peacemaker and a peace lover, the only way to truly help some of these people is to hurt people. Now, sadly, at the moment, right now, in Sudan, there is active massacres occurring against men, women and children, all civilians. And it is grotesque. It is absolutely upsetting. You know, and there's also shit going down at the moment in Nigeria, which has got a massive population. You know, and we've got USA at the moment. That's going insane with what's happening with their civil discourse by the people that claim to be leftists and victims. That's a disgrace. Anyway, so we train for war. The role of the infantry is to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or capture him, to seize and hold ground, to repel attack by day or night, regardless of season, weather or terrain, all under the Skippy badge, duty first. We don't care about your emotions. We'll hold on to you and we'll work you until you can't stay in the saddle. It's as simple as that. There is no other job, civilian job, none, that have anything that is remotely close to this. This is a standalone career within a standalone career, right? So if you've watched enough movies and you've seen enough things and this is what you want to do, then you should not be surprised when you get to infantry and realise the next one, you're always under peer assessment. What I had written there before is we eat our own. We eat our own. What does that mean? Is we're not like an organisation where we just pass the buck and pretend to be innocent of everything we do. Every single thing you do, from the moment you do your beep test at the PFA, to Kapuka, to the School of Infantry, you're being watched by other soldiers for the rest of your career that will know you as a good guy or, okay, he's all right, or a shit dude that they don't want in their call sign. And that reputation will move through you. You always are being watched. You're always being watched. And the biggest critic, other than yourself, and it should be yourself, is your peers, because they see everything that the corporals don't, the sergeants don't, the lieutenants don't. They see everything and they will pass it on. And it might even get to Special Forces before you ever apply for it. They'll know who you are and they can find out pretty quick as well. Commandos, SAS, promotion courses, etc. We find out about you. So we train for war. Make no mistake, we're not here for natural disasters. We're here to be sent overseas and either come back carrying boxes or inside them. Hopefully we get back. You're always under peer assessment. There is no quitting, but collapse is acceptable. Okay, if you cannot keep up with the mission state and you actually collapse from heat, from exhaustion, in some ways that can be acceptable sometimes, but not if you're the only one and it's because you're fat, lazy, and had the opportunities, and you've done something to bring that upon yourself. An example of that, going to Tully and not even making it to the walk-in. It's not a selection course. It's your goddamn mission. It's your job. There's no excuse to be passing out. It happens. It does. When you're carrying 50, 60 kilos of gear, add another 20 kilos when it's wet, do it in the jungle, in the tropics, and then by 10, 12 days, living off less than a rash pack a day, you can hit the wall. And when it happens, okay, then captain's, what would you call it? Decision is made on whether you were underdone. Have you just got to the battalion? It's a tropical environment. Or will we absolutely push to the limit by someone on a radio that didn't actually get to look in the eyes of the platoon commander and his men and realise he was pushing them harder than was the conditions allowed? And that can happen too. What do we do that makes it worse for ourselves? And a lot of this became because of Angus Campbell, etc. When we were overseas, no sleeves rolled up. Why? If you're in infantry, you should be able to treat your arms like a religion. Get them big. Make them claws. Get out there. Work them. But if you're not allowed to display them, but an Air Force guys are, and they're the guys with the smallest arms in the ADF, what's the go? So is it because of cancer? That's what they used to say. Well, how come the Raffies haven't all died of cancer, right? But they're allowed to smoke. Makes no sense. They're allowed to wear baseball caps. They're allowed to be fat, right? When we go overseas and we're dealing in temperatures between 40 and 55 degrees, sometimes over that, especially armoured corps guys, when they're sitting inside their vehicles in a tropical environment north of Australia, you should be allowed to have your sleeves rolled up. You should actually be allowed to wear a T-shirt and wear your body gear over the top. If you get shot, you're still shot. It's worse than cancer. We need to have some common sense and fundamentals where you can swim, have protection, take the boys in. Our weapons are fucking waterproof. Anyway, there is no quitting, but collapse is acceptable, right? When we're on parades, they always say, if you're going to collapse, hit face first and that'll be okay. And it'll be good for the crowd. But don't take a knee, righto? A sign of weakness. Hold your breath. Dream of London. Don't wiggle your toes. You'll fall over. 343, 24/7, 365. There's no escape. That's what you are. You can't get out of it for the first 4 years unless you quit. And we don't like quitters. Simon, there you go. I knew he'd say something about the sleeves up. Never rolled my sleeves up. You should. Men look better with their sleeves rolled up, especially when they're wearing a slouch hat with the brim hanging down. Where is that hat? Anyway, what else we got? Upskilling is expected. Special forces, promotion, or specialist. You know, we've done our BFA twice a year. You know, a lot higher standard than the rest of the army. You know, 11, 18 would be, for someone under 25, you know, would almost still be considered a fail. We expect you to be 10, 30 and under, you know, because you're running at the speed of the average soldier whose average speed should be under 11, 18, and you're fresh, you should be able to do it. If you haven't, you just haven't done the training, or it's later in the year, or you've got an injury, that's fine, because generally we all have injuries all the time anyway. Any advice to 20-year-old South Sudanese applicant to the ADF infantry? I'm up to the testing part. Mate, well, for starters, congratulations for getting the hell out of Sudan. Mate, the best thing I can say to you is, like our guy from Sierra Leone, get on the bat phone, which happens to be black, okay, and come over there and have a conversation with me, and let's get you ready. I can't think of a better thing that when someone has been given a second chance at life in Australia to go and do their time in the military, it's the best way to make the mates forever. It's the best way to get away from enclaves. It's the best way to say thank you to the nation. And we'd appreciate you, mate. One thing you do need to know, but black people don't float, you know, because of bone density. Man, have a sense of humour with that one. Dark humour as you will, you know, because our blackest soldiers, strong, bone density, often spend a lot of time on the bottom of the pool wondering how come everyone else floats. So be ready for that. And there will be an expectation that you can still pass your swim test, which is 50 metres plus for infantry, 30 metres for the rest of the corps. But that doesn't excuse you from helicopter underwater escape training when you go to Townsville. Right, so upskilling is expected. You know, after your first year, you know, that's when you're starting to look seriously at things like special forces when they come around and do their travel around the country, and understand that infantry is their primary pool to recruit from, because you're already a gunfighter. You're always going to have normally some skill sets. You might be 25 years old, come from a support company, already done your promotion courses. You know, you could be a sniper, you could reconnaissance, you could be a radio operator, combat medic, all those things. Fantastic. And you're probably not going to panic. Promotion, take your time getting that. You want to be the best soldier before you get promoted. Okay, you normally get promoted when you realise that I can do a better job than the people that are in charge of me, and that is normally a better time. Or specialist, heavy weapons, recon, snipers, etc. Okay, the next one, dark humour, thick skin, not issued but is expected. If you come in there and you're a bitch, you're not going to have a good time. You're going to hate your life, you're going to hate your career, you're going to be out before 4 years, and you're probably going to think that you're bullied when actual fact is you were the fuckwit in the group that came in there too weak, hadn't looked at the movies, didn't realise what you're getting in for, or were too ignorant to understand. Dark humour is what we do to get through hard times in the absence of phones, in the absence of technology, distraction, food, comfort, aircon, family. This is what we do. It's a sign. It can go too far, and when that happens, people normally step in. Thick skin. If you don't like something you're being called, then chances are that's going to be your nickname now. It's not issued, you know, it's not mentioned, but there is an expectation that you come in there and you can be a man. The general rule of thumb is, if you're like me, a goddamn clown, I don't tend to take the piss out of people that don't take the piss out of other people. Okay? And I take the piss out of other people that are similar to me, and then we get inventive and we get darker and darker and darker. You know, so you wouldn't want your mum to hear what you're saying to other people, really going down on their personal disabilities and weaknesses. Go deep. Make it hurt. Having said that, even when I'm a platoon sergeant, you know, if I take the piss out of you and you're a private soldier, that means you can take the piss back out of me. I've opened the door. It's not a one-way valve. You're allowed to do that. And that comes down to morale is our fuel. Once your morale is gone, that means your psyche is going to start to crack, and that means the problems are going to get in. You need to have good morale. Be part of the group. Don't isolate. Take some cards. You know? Enjoy the moment. It's not going to last forever. One day you're going to be looking back at a career on the funniest things you've ever said or heard. So enjoy this moment, relish it, and ferment in it. You know, some of the best comedians are in the Royal Australian Regiment, I can tell you, lads. What else we got here? Okay, we've got the Patreon link there. Jump on there, guys. I cannot talk to people through just comments, teams. For context, you need to jump onto that bat phone. And before we do that, I'm just going to quickly say, I didn't get a chance to say it the other day. Someone left a comment and it basically said, Kaz is peddling for paid calls, I put it down to ignorance and someone that might have been absolutely new to the channel. But let me just say quickly, if you think what I'm doing is trying to get money out of you, that is not the case. But this channel does cost thousands of dollars a year to run it. Not only that, with the different programs, etc., and what we do, but also, what do we do with our money? We've bought cars for people in India. That was 6 months of the Patreon money that we get. And that all went to a family in India, right? We've been down to the Mother's Day and handed out thousands of dollars. People have probably seen the videos around Sydney and giving to homeless. We've been to people and done like telethon things for people so that they would get their disabilities, get driveways, all of this stuff, ramps put into their houses. We've been and ambushed people and paid for all of their white goods at Harvey Norman. All of that, every single bit of that, has come from fantastic people of this channel. We're not here to take your money here, team. But at the same time, I can't do what we did with our first channel and hand out my phone number and end up with 1,000 phone calls a day for people that aren't willing to buy you a cup of coffee. If you come to Patreon, don't be a free member. I can't respond to free members. You have to be willing to buy at least a coffee for the person that's going to give a day of their life to either catch up with you, or sit for hours at a time on the phone for you over a month getting you ready for your dream. A cup of coffee. If you can't do that, I don't want to help you, to tell you the truth. And when I do meetups with people, I buy them the coffee out of their own money anyway. Anyway, that's out the way. Stevie Bryce. Guess what, Miss Caswell, Mr. Powell? Mum only has 2 units of chemotherapy left for this cycle. Brycey, well done. For those that don't know, Steve is in Western Australia. He's got a horrible affliction. Liam is his fantastic son, and his wife has got breast cancer. It's a terrible thing, but they're getting through this as a family, and it's excellent. And they've got their morale up there. They have. Stevie still laughs every time we talk. Scotty's also going through a hard time in Brisbane. All the best to that champion too. Truck driver. Whoop, whoop. That'd be a good corps. But you never see anyone above the rank of Lance Corporal in transport. I don't know what they're doing. Really yellowed, mate, don't worry, I will pay for anything you suggest. You helped me so much get past most of yous in the Army Best Aussie channel. Thanks, mate. And we'll never have enough black friends, my friend. So if you want to get on there, just go to the Black Legion on Patreon, mate, and we can have a phone call tomorrow. I appreciate you. And I'm glad that you escaped the Sudan, because that's breaking my heart when I look at everything to do with it now. Toilet Brush, that's a good name. Lads, what age are we saying is cut off for infantry or direct DRS? Okay, that's direct entry commandos. For infantry, I reckon probably 35 in regular infantry. Every person's a different specimen, but that's the thing. DRS, I would say, that's up to them. But I'd say you'd be looking at entry under 30, I think is the age, is the cutoff. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd say go to cavalry, mate. Damn, that's great stuff you're doing for the community with the Patreon dough, Kaz. How big is your team, mate? It's just me, mate. It's just me, Johnny. But it's not just me, because we've got 200 members of Patreon that pay a coffee a month and say, Kaz, go and do something good with it, okay? It's a fantastic thing. It gives me the chance to see people in the street and absolutely make a difference to people. It doesn't sound like much, but it really does. And when you don't have to ask permission to do it, you can just pull the hammer, and help someone. It's the best feeling in the world. Hey, thank you, Really Yellowed. That's 2 people from the African nation that have joined in the last week. Thank you very much, mate. Can we get some thumbs up there for, what are we going to call you? Really Yellowed. Can we get some thumbs up for Really Yellowed and for his escape from Sudan? How old were you when you came over, my man? Brady, hey, Liam, say good day for us. Liam, mate, you are going to be a man with the wisdom of giants by the time you're 25, mate. Yeah, I might just squeeze in that 35 number. Cav, certainly been on my mind. Appreciate the honesty. Again, toilet brush. We're always open up for a phone call with you to completely make a case just for you. And that's what the good thing about Patreon is. You know, come over in 2006, man, you've dodged a bullet there, and don't mind the pun. That's morale. Okay, reputation means everything in the RAR. You know, you're only as good as your last hit out. You're only as good as your last hit out. You know, if you miss something, then you're not going to be on board. Let's just say, take a breath. Let's just say that you go on a maritime operation, you know, with the Marines Coalition partners, or go over and do an exchange in Hawaii, or go to Tully, or miss the live fire activities. You miss one of these things for whatever reason. Your wife's having a baby, you know, you've got a broken leg. Any one of these things happens. When they come home, you've got nothing in common with them anymore, because they're not talking about Singo, they're not talking about Kapuka, they're not talking about Tully last year. They're only talking about what they've just been through, what they can't wait to eat next, and did anyone touch my missus? That's about it. So your reputation all of a sudden starts to drop. And it wouldn't matter if you had the Black Plague. You know, it wouldn't matter if you were dead. They'd go, I can't believe you didn't come. You know? Right? Because that's where all the conversations happen, because every single day you're going to be doing at least 4 hours on picket, no matter where you are, where you're going to be sitting with someone you like or someone you don't like, someone you're pretending to like, as you get through that 4-hour gun picket at night time, maybe raining, you know, as the front door to the section while they sleep. So it's very important that you don't miss out anything, which means you're never going to be 100% healthy. You're always going to be sore, you know, but that's what Christmas holidays is about, is getting better, going to the beach, getting rid of ball chafe. Ball chafe, that's the worst. Boxer shorts. Tinea, that's a gift. You'll never get rid of that. Tinea, you'll scratch your goddamn fingers, toes until they bleed, but you'll love every second of it. Rubbing that sock. Put a thumbs in there if if you've still got your tinea from being overseas. Toilet brush, yeah, I'll be in touch with the bat phone. Toilet brush, I can't wait to get you to where you want to go. And you're going to love it, because we make a difference to people's lives all the time. Right, reputation means everything. And that also means backing your mates up. That means when you get to the battalion, and let's just say that Toilet Brush is going through Singleton at the moment. He's got a missus, hasn't seen her for 6 months, and he's about to go to the battalion. You don't just get her to move up and meet you the day you get to the battalion, because you might be going straight out bush for 6 weeks, right? So you want to get up there, you know, do some reunion travel, go and see her if she's de facto. You know, get down there as soon as possible. If you've got kids, go and see them, you know, and then come back and then set up a nest for her. But also have that first 4 to 6 months where you marry the battalion. You're on every bush X. They see you running, fitness, chin-ups, dips, all the time, like Cameron, one of our other good Patreon members, who just did 20 chin-ups for the first time in his life. That's fantastic. It puts you in a special mother effing club. 20 chin-ups. My record was 34. So, yeah, absolutely. If you don't ask in infantry, you won't get it. I can't read your mind. There's no reason why you can't go up to any rank and ask for something. Go through your chain of command where you can. But if they're in a unique position to get it for you, go and ask them. They might just say yes. We had he was a lieutenant at the time, I believe, Lieutenant Hunter. They went over to the RAF base and they to go and have a look at the fighter jets. And it was the lieutenant that asked, hey, any chance I can go up for a spin? They went, absolutely you can. We already said the first person to ask is going to get a ride. He could have given it to one of his soldiers, but he didn't. He went, yep, I'll do it. So he got to go up in, it might have been FA-18 at the time, I think, and he got up for a flight in those. So if you don't, I'm never offended when you come and ask. Okay, same deal in rank. Even though we're regimental, we love our soldiers. I love my soldiers. I still love my soldiers, but not like a sailor. And you can always say anytime you want, Sarge, can we, have you got time for me to come and have a conversation with you? And can we have the door closed? Yeah, sure thing. Come in. Everyone, fuck off. You're normally supposed to have a witness in case there's something going on. I don't believe in the witness. You know, I've got nothing to hide. Come in, talk to me. You know? When you do a chin up, which chin counts? Well, you should only have one if you're in infantry, so that narrows it down. Smelly Moot Gaming. Do you get a break after finishing a puka? No. You go straight to School of Infantry, and you could be starting within a week if you've done your BFA and passed that on day 4, which is the first paid Thursday. There is no break. If you're going to another corps, it's probably going to be fairly easy. It's probably going to be fairly relaxed. As a matter of fact, every single corps is easy other than infantry when you go there, pretty much. Artillery, they can be pretty wacky too. You know, but infantry, you're still marching around, getting around in pairs, maybe getting no time off. You know, PT every day, yelled at. No doors on your accommodation, depending on where you are. You know, forming up everywhere, going everywhere as a platoon. You know, getting beasted because they can't afford to let the discipline drop for you to forget that you're not in Kansas now, you know, and lose some of the professionalism they need because they're about to have you doing your course. The School of Infantry course gets harder in the 16 weeks it goes on, harder. You know, and ultimately it ends up with you doing live fire by night, you know, beside your mates with night vision equipment, with overhead gunfire. You can't afford people goofing off or not being fit or not being strong. And that's why I say no women should be allowed in infantry at all. None. Okay, it's not a game. When it goes wrong, and it does go wrong, people die. Yeah. Mr. Buccarini, Smithy, just watch the C word, please, mate. Could be kids on. Yep, that is true. It is a good word. It is a good word. And when it's said properly, I love it. You know, but you've got to save it. Use it sparingly in the right place. I'm going for artillery or infantry. Damn. Real yellowed. I hope so, man, because that's the best way to start. Okay, what else we got here? You won't see your biggest test coming. That is a true statement. You won't see it coming. You will not get out of the army, especially infantry, not injured. You will get injured. It might be back compression. It might be knees. It might be ankles. It might be your head. It might be your wrists. You know, it might be teeth. It could be anything. You know, but in saying that, it's like being an NRL player. You know, when you have a football career, you're going to come out sore. But to those that risk the biscuit, okay, the glory is yours as well. Now, you won't see the biggest test coming. Now, what do I mean by that? That could mean that you go on an operational trip, you don't come back from alive. You could go on an operational trip where you come back, you know, maimed. You could come back where you just can't adapt with normal civilians because you've seen reality. You know, it could be because you've been in operational tours in third world nations. You know, where are we? Like real yellowed there. I've done my time in Rwanda. Okay. Again, we know this axe came from a massacre, okay, in Rwanda, Kibeho, at a religious site. Yeah. And that is where I became fully spiritual, you know, because I knew what it was like to go where God wasn't. And at the moment, God is not in the Sudan. Yeah. And it's heartbreaking to know that that's happening now. Hey, Kaz, off to Canungra tomorrow for a 9-day field ex. What is the food you're going to take there, Synth? What are you going to take? Are you going to take a salami? You know, you're going to take a packet of lollies? What's it going to be? You know, is it going to be 2-minute noodles? Is it going to be some soy sauce? Is it going to be some Nexium to stop you from getting heartburn from the tortellini? You won't see the test coming, team. You know, so you always have to be ready. You have to be good to go. You have to be your brother's keeper. You've got to be, whether you like him or not. You know, you've got to be able to be sitting with a group of 8 men, you know, for 6 months at a time, knowing that there's someone there that you really, really love and there's someone that you really, really despise. And you've got to make it work personality-wise. And that happens if everyone has the code that you don't get taught, the man code. Don't mention names. Don't be a bitch. If you whinge, you know, get it out of your system, do it around the right people, you know, and make sure that you have a summary of the reason why you're really pissed. You can make a observation and you can go to the chain of command and you can talk to them about it. You know, you can have a debate about it. That's the best way to do it. You know, we're all approachable, including platoon commanders. But a platoon commander is not your friend. He might be in 20 years, but he won't be at the start. You know, don't get in his way. Let him do his job. He's got to make hard decisions. Yep. Your platoon sergeant is your father. He's independent in the call sign. He can talk to the platoon commander. He can close the door on a platoon commander and tell the platoon commander, sit there, listen in. Brian, I'm not talking to you as a platoon sergeant at the moment. I'm talking to you to someone who looks like they're about to throw their career in the shithouse because, like up there, okay, where is it? Come on, blind Kaz. Your reputation means everything in the Royal Australian Regiment. That's officers as well. If you're a platoon sergeant and you can hear your platoon commander's name is getting thrown around derogatory, then you need to fix his reputation up. A little bit of a porky pie, talk some bullshit, say that he's better than what he is, defend him, but then go back and be scathing to him behind closed doors. He'll listen because he doesn't want to throw his career away, and it'll scare the shit out of him when he hears that his name's getting thrown around. I grew up in a private Christian school since pre-primary. My mum was broke but made sure I went to that school. That's awesome, mate, because Christianity gives us 10 commandments, and 10 commandments are pretty much common sense. You can't do wrong. Mr. Amieth. Okay, it's just about packed and ready to go for tomorrow. Can't wait to jump on that bus. Oh, it's Lanky. There he is. What do you have for dinner, mate? Can we get some thumbs up for Lanky? He goes and hits the Kapuka sheets tomorrow night, but his first morning is not really tomorrow morning, it's the day after. That's when he's going to pay the piper. Look at people across from him from no shirt on and go, what the hell is going on? Okay, let's get to the next one. So the normal day, you turn up at 7:20, your section commander will take you away and do section PT. It's not individual PT, should not be individual PT, because the section commander has to report on your ability, performance, rate you. Are you at the top, middle, or bottom of the section? Do something about it. When you do skill sets outfield, he owns your reputation as well. It comes down from the section commander. So he is your father. The 2IC is your mum, so to speak. Picket lists. What do you want? What do you need? Get shit done. Run it by the 2IC. I think I'm in trouble. We come back at 9:30 in dress of the day, whether you're going to the range or whether you're going to be doing weapons drills. Repetition makes excellence, and then from there, what occurs is you have lunch. Lunch can go between 1 and 2 hours. I'll say that again. Lunch can go between 1 and 2 hours. Most of you guys probably have half an hour for lunch. Half an hour. We can get 1 to 2 hours, and that's after having an hour between 8:30 and 9:30, get showered, have coffee with someone else's wife, and then get back to the barracks. We don't have coffee with someone else's wife. That's just a pun. Okay, after lunch, good soldiers will normally be already trying to swindle the boss as to why the hell are we here? Why aren't we knocked off? I want to go and do some administration. The best thing you can say is, I want to go and make myself stronger. I want to skill up. I want to go and do some extra PT, and I'll take a couple of the unfit soldiers with me. I'll take them down the pool and make them do some laps as we prepare for Hewitt next week. How about that? Helicopter underwater escape training, Sarge. I like that idea. If your section commander's down with that, I'm down with that. Section commanders might be going, hey, can I take my boys down for section PT? Takes them down. Instead of doing an hour between 3 and 4 o'clock, and 4 o'clock be a knock-off company parade, I've got my phone on me, Sarge. It might be, okay, you can take the boys to the pool, you go down there, do a half an hour hard circuit, send them home. They're already knocked off early. In infantry, because we don't actually have a set job to do every day, there's no reason why a platoon sergeant can't say, Simon Powell, when was the last time you had morning sex? Never. Okay, how about tomorrow? Okay, you come in at 9:30. That's my favour to you. If I was a platoon sergeant again now, what I'd do is I'd give every soldier in the battalion, in my platoon, one pass which says get out of work free card. So one time a year, and based on the fact that you've done a BFA as well, that you can go up to your section commander and say, I want to lay my card down, Corporal! You don't call him that, it'll be Macca, Brownie or Clarkey. And then go up to the platoon sergeant and go, Sarge, I'm pulling my card. Okay, as long as section commander knows where you are, well done. And that means the following day, see you later, you don't turn up to work, okay? Or you turn up to work, high five, Top Gun, Air Force, and then you do an about turn and off you go. You can have that in infantry. You can have that. It is the best job in the world. The pay is good. The camaraderie is excellent. As long as you obey all those things, 343, 24/7, 365, that you can carry the gun, that you're in the top third fitness in the platoon, regardless. Everyone should be doing that, which is impossible because then everyone will be the top third, which can't happen, which means there's always something, a competition that's being conducted in infantry. If everyone competes, which is why Townsville is the best place to get posted, there's the most amount of teams, then you can have the best career and the most amount of opportunities because of the support staff around there, whether it be 5 Aviation, whether it be 3-4 Cavalry Regiment, whether it be 4 Field Artillery, Regiment, okay, whether it be 3 CER, the engineers, whether it be going down and using the pool, all of these different things, whether it be the signal squadron, whether it be the transport division. 3 Sisby. Hey, Desi. Hey, glad I've made to your stream finally. Been watching your vids for a while. I'm trying to get myself ready for ADF, but got a bit of work to do to get myself fit and healthy. Plus, got to quit smoking. You've got to quit smoking because that tells the snipers exactly where you are. Also, we know some guys that are my age, I'm 54, that are dealing with, chronic lung disease. And all they wish that they could speak to young soldiers if they had a platform like me is do not smoke. It will fuck you up. There's not one advantage. And it looks stupid and you stink like shit. Don't do it, my man. You're smarter than that. Desi, let's replace that with coffee, and long conversations, my man. Really yellow, Nico, don't worry. I try my best to be a positive image, to be a pioneer, to drive lost souls like other people like me to join the ADF, serve the country that saved them. Fantastic. Always remember the Anzac. It doesn't mean we're a good guy because we're in the army, but we are at least held to account by some sort of standard. And we represent you. Jonathan, heard that with army mates you can trust them with your life but not your money, your wife. What do you think? You can definitely trust them with your money because they get paid the same. Okay, with your wife, it's a tough one. And I'll explain this one to you. Every single time that someone sleeps with a man's wife, it's the wife's fault. Remember that. Because sex doesn't happen unless a woman says yes, not when a man says yes, when a woman says yes. So if you're an ordinary looking lad and you've got the looks of your father and your father's not a good looking lad, he looks like an old cricket bat from bloody England, that came with the First Fleet. And then you take your lovely wife, over to meet a platoon of 30 guys, and 28 of them are better looking than you, or better bodies than you, and outperform you, and they're funnier than you, and they dress better than you, and they've got more money than you because she's got your money, then it makes them all look pretty good. And then add alcohol, and then add familiarity, and then add a couple of fights, things happen, and that's life. I don't condone it. It can happen. It can happen very easily. We're watching those things at the moment where there's a lot of accusations happening about the Australian Army. And you go, I hate to tell you, but it takes 2 to tango. Yeah, and quite often it doesn't take much alcohol at all. All it means is some people throw it out there pretty quickly. Only thing I'm worried about joining the ADF is that they might think all Sudanese people are the same. They don't, which isn't true. Some try and build the country while others try to destroy it. Absolutely. And you know what? Shit. Tinea. Okay. When you go in there, mate, again, no one gives a shit. All they care about is unity. Diversity means nothing. Unity means everything. If you want to be one of the lads, if you want to be part of the team, if you've got a sense of humour, then you're our black guy. You're our Asian. You're our Pakistani, our Arab. You're our South American. We don't care. As long as you can carry the gun, carry yourself, carry me if I'm injured. That's all we care about. That's it. As a matter of fact, you're going to come out of there, absolutely an advocate for the dark humour, and you're going to have a ball because I tell you something else. You probably get sick, just like our other friend does from, I talked to him from Sierra Leone. Do you get sick of people in Australia overcompensating for the fact that you're black, that they have to try to show you that it's not a big deal so that you don't think they're racist? No, we'll treat you like a normal person. Like a normal person. That's it. Really, they won't judge you. Well, we don't see colour, race or faith. As a matter of fact, when someone dies, their race is not up on the roll of honour, okay? Neither is their rank. All that matters is your name. Your family name. Make it glow. be the best version of you, and we'll be proud of you and we'll carry you through. And the shit that I'll be able to say to you, I won't let other people say that shit if they're not your brother. We will protect you. I don't think I've had a section that hasn't had a black-skinned individual in it, whether they come from Aboriginal, okay, whether they're Fijian, Savanaka Tawaki, Stevie O-Ring, Aboriginal, one of the best tacklers I've ever met. I let him tackle me to prove to the Marines that Australians are tougher. 3 or 4 times he put me down. I paid hard. Plenty of different colours and cultures in the RAR, mate. Absolutely, Sith. Absolutely. You know what? And if someone actually heard someone having a go at someone just based on that, I reckon that person is the one that'd end up getting chinned, to tell you the truth. Liam. Hey, Kaz, did my JOA and unlocked infantry. My best friend is currently halfway through Kapuka and he loves it. Then you've got some good friends, Liam. And Liam's a good name. Because if your friend is loving it, that means he's also not a quitter. Is he going infantry as well? Let us know. Thumbs up to him. I hope at the moment he's having a hard time, because hard times make good men. Thanks, Nico. Made me more comfortable in my application. Absolutely. We look forward to having you, man. And if you go to 2RAR, like I said, the other guy will call you Midnight, because they're known as the men in black with the black shirts. 2nd Battalion, second to none. There you go. Right. Guys, day-to-day in infantry is like being in a football team. That's what it's like. Every day you turn up, it starts with being teased, you teasing someone, trying to swindle your way out of work. When we're not complaining that we're working too hard, we're complaining that we're fucking bored. Your friendship gets bigger and bigger. You're going to have people surrounding tables. I've got a high ace and I still haven't got enough seats for all my mates. It's the best. Rui Yellow says, my South African friend is in infantry and also calls me Midnight, and I don't take offence because it's an asset for the night attack. It is, except if I'm looking for you to wake you up for picket, I'm going to be going, hey, can you smile so I can find you? But not that much. Don't smile that much. Don't give away our position. Liam, yes, he is. We've had a couple of phone calls. You got shin splints. Yep, that can happen in his first week, and it's on painkillers. I look forward to infantry. Absolutely, Liam, and I look forward to you getting to 343, 24/7, 365, because it is our life. Everything you do, don't expect them to understand. They won't. Because when they say, what do you do for a living? Hey, financial? When they ask what you do for a living, they're not ready for you to say, hey, I train for war. And if they go, fuck off, what a wank thing to say. Go, mate, listen. Seek out and close with the enemy, to kill or capture them, to seize and hold ground, to repel attack by day or night, regardless of season, weather or terrain. I'm a weapons expert. I'm a bayonet fighting expert. I'm a combatives expert. Okay? I'm trained with explosives. I know what to do in combat care of the casualty. When I'm not in a helo, I'm in a Navy vessel or in an armoured vehicle, or I'm walking there. I know what it's like to do 40 kilometres with 60 kilos on my back over a couple of day period, where there's no roads. I live on a ration pack a day, but because it's heavy, I only like to carry a third of it. And my dessert is heartburn. Get some Nexium. Just discovered it. It's the best. So Financial says, Fien Cicial, I don't know how to say it properly. Go to the 2nd Battalion if you are happy only seeing your family 5 months a year. Now, I personally, at the moment, would be considering, tell me what you think, going to 3RAR, because it's like a double-strength battalion, and they're waiting on the armoured vehicles to come in. But I do believe that Townsville is the best place. Right? And that won't happen every year, 5 months a year. That's because of courses, that's because of commitments, etc. Right? You'll go through cycles, peaks and troughs. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're going to see something on CNN, something on the TV that says someone's going somewhere in the world, and before you know it, you're the one that's strapping on dog tags, okay? Filling out a new will, cutting your ex-girlfriend out, putting a new one in, and realising, is this the one that's going to define Australia's future? Who knows? What do you reckon about Signals Corps? I reckon it's an excellent corps. It's an excellent corps, Signals Corps. There's so much you can do there. Infantry is not for everyone. It's not. But you need to go in realistically, do your research and think, what is this corps It's not about the job. It's about the people you're going to be hanging out with. If you're going to be with Signals, you're going to be going out with and hanging out with academic people. You know, a lot of them are going to be sedentary. When you go to infantry, you know you're going to be fucking around with jocks. Guys are going to go out there, play hard, you know, and they're going to have expectations of you. Thank you very much for the coffee there too, my man. Let's throw him a quick. Let's throw him a quick South Australian mother, you know, for the 8 months that he is. Sorry, the 7 months that he is in barracks. This is for you, man. The South Australian single mum. Look at her arms. That's battalion parade. It's a Kraken. Feed him a mother-in-law. That should make him happy. Welcome, Calamari. Yeah, I just saw that real yellow. It is very sad what happened to that the soldier that was killed in the APC incident. I believe it was a crew commander's course, and I don't believe he suffered, which is great. I hope his family's getting looked after. For those that don't know, I believe the policy should be $5 every pay goes into a kitty, so that when one of these horrible incidents occurs while we're trained for war, that the house is paid off of their family, you know, and they're told this did not come from the Department of Veteran Affairs, this did not come from the government, this came from the soldiers, airmen and sailors, you know, that have donated this to your family to in some way compensate you within 24 hours of losing your beloved child. Because when you die, you go back to becoming a child again and you become immortal. I'll read you some of the poetry I've done about people we've lost soon if you want, but not tonight. What's the go with painkillers in Kapuka? Medication, you're not normally allowed to take medication, or if you do, you have to declare it. You know, but we can talk about that toilet brush. Nicole says training accidents happen all the time, and unfortunately, we do lose people. I was in towns when one happened coming back from high range. Yeah, there was that guy that got killed on the escarpment on an APC rollover, and then we had Captain Casey who got killed in front of me in what do you call it? In high range, and naturally the Black Hawk disaster that killed 17, and that's not mentioned to mention the one that killed two of my friends, Benjamin Chuck, God bless his father, you know, who's a lovely man, Gordon Chuck, and Scotty Palmer and Tim Applin. Yeah, tragedies. I've been trying to donate to the family but couldn't find anything. It's all right, Real Yellowed, it's okay. They'll get looked after, mate. They will. Guys, let's get out of here. It's hot as hell in here at the moment. The rains came, but they didn't deliver. So, in summary, being infantry is an all-encompassing, 24/7, reputation-based, performance-judged lifestyle that is very hard to stay in the saddle. But it gives you the opportunity for riches. It gives you the opportunity for financial freedom. It gives you doors that can open as a basement for careers after you get out. Whether that be in special forces, intelligence community, leadership divisions. There is so many things that it gives you, but that will be a conclusion for this video tonight. 24 years infantry. My father was Ramey for 28 years. If there's any regret I have, it would be that I wasn't in there longer. No, but I didn't have a choice. So guys, take it easy. This is your chance. Do your homework, get in, do it right, love your brothers, earn the respect, but also expect, you know, higher standards from those around you. Hey, Saunchy, how you going, mate? How you doing? Great to have you here, my friend. Subscribe now if you haven't already. It's free. You know, even if it's to come on here and give me a bit of a, you know, an ass kicking verbally. It's fine. I can take it. Before we go, should Australian ADF adopt a complete no woke agenda like the USA, our coalition partners, and go back to war fighting only? 86 said yes. That's awesome. 9% not qualified to comment. I respect that. No is 6%. I don't know how you could think that woke is good. It's not. You know, all right. Take it easy, team. You know, mucho respect to you. And Liam, Stevie Bryce, Lanky, you know, all the best years. And thank you to our excellent moderators that allow you guys to have the best experience and keep as much clutter off as possible. Take it easy for those that are going to sign on to the military. You've got 100 points in advance. Only you can lose them. Only you can lose them. And to so many, the only thing that was left of them was their dog tags. So to you guys, 100 points in advance. I still call Australia home. I just don't like our politicians. Take it easy. You're part of the best country in the world. And I tell you what, if you've come from Sudan and you come from Sierra Leone, you probably agree. Sometimes you need to go outside the country to realise what we've got. Take it easy, team. And it was a pleasure serving you tonight and any other day. That's Kaz from the